My combat patch means nothing compared to what I actually saw over there. Everyone sees that faded tan rectangle on my right shoulder and assumes they know my story. Firefights, IEDs, the stuff you see in movies. They thank me for my service, and I nod, because it's easier than explaining what really happened. I was a military police officer stationed outside Kandahar in 2012. Our job wasn't kicking in doors or hunting insurgents. We ran checkpoints, processed detainees, and handled civilian complaints. Boring stuff. I'd signed up expecting to be a warrior. Instead, I spent most days searching cars for contraband while dust coated everything I owned. My team leader, Sergeant First Class Brendan Pierce, was a 16-year veteran who'd seen real combat in Fallujah. He never talked about it much, but you could see it in the way he carried himself. Meanwhile, I was just Specialist Wade Holloway, a 22-year-old from suburban Ohio who'd never fired his weapon outside of a range. The morning everything changed started normal. Hot, dusty, the smell of burning trash from the local village mixing with diesel fumes from our generators. We were processing a line of vehicles at Checkpoint 7 when this battered Toyota pickup rolled up. Driver was a thin Afghan man, maybe 50, with worry lines carved deep into his face. He was frantic, speaking broken English mixed with Pashto. Our interpreter, Curtis, translated, his daughter, very sick, needs hospital, Kabul. I looked in the truck bed. There was a girl, maybe 9 years old, wrapped in blankets. Her skin had this gray pallor I'd never seen before. Shallow breathing, eyes rolled back. She needs to go now, the father pleaded. Please, American hospital, you have doctors. Here's where the reality of war hits different than you expect. We had procedures, rules. The girl needed to be searched. The vehicle needed to be inspected. We'd had suicide bombers use ambulances, fake injuries, anything to breach our perimeter. It happened all the time. Pierce pulled me aside. Check the girl, then search the vehicle. Full inspection. My hands were shaking as I approached. This wasn't combat. This was a dying child. I could see her chest barely moving. The father watched me with desperate eyes. I ran the metal detector over her small body, feeling sick to my stomach. Nothing. Checked under the blankets. Nothing. The vehicle inspection took 12 minutes. Protocol. We found no explosives, no weapons. Clean. She can go through, I told Pierce. He nodded, waved the truck forward. I watched it speed toward the base hospital, dust cloud trailing behind. That night, I couldn't sleep in my rack. The plywood walls felt too close. I kept thinking about those 12 minutes. 12 minutes following rules while a child struggled to breathe. The next morning, Pierce found me at the DFAC, pushing eggs around my tray. The girl died, he said quietly. Got to the hospital. Doctors said some kind of infection. Treatable if she'd gotten there sooner. I felt my jaw clench. How much sooner? Medical report said maybe 15, 20 minutes would have made the difference. He sat down across from me, his coffee cup leaving a wet ring on the table. You did your job right, Holloway. You followed procedure. That's what keeps us alive out here. But I couldn't shake it. That gray face, those desperate eyes, the sound of my metal detector beeping over her small body. I'd done everything by the book, and a child died. The combat patch on my shoulder represents 9 months in Afghanistan. I never fired my weapon at an enemy, never got mortared, never had that moment of glory under fire that people imagine when they see that tan rectangle. What I got instead was the weight of understanding that sometimes the enemy isn't the Taliban. Sometimes it's the procedures designed to keep us safe. Sometimes it's the impossible choice between protecting your brothers and saving a stranger's daughter. I processed hundreds more vehicles after that day, saved dozens of lives by catching explosives, weapons, actual threats. But I still see that girl's face every time someone thanks me for my service. Last year, I got an email through military channels. The father, his name was Fahim, had somehow tracked me down. He wrote that he didn't blame me, that I was following orders, that his daughter was in paradise now. He said he prayed for me. I printed that email and keep it folded in my wallet, right behind my military ID. Some people collect challenge coins or medals. I carry the forgiveness of a man whose daughter died while I did my job correctly. That's the real weight of the combat patch. Not the battles you fight, but the moments when doing everything right still feels unforgivably wrong.